and they by a forced union, never meant to install false foundations, now straining beneath the weight of its own contradictions. And at the center of that storm stands the unbroken spirit of Biafra, crying out for freedom from a nightmare that has millions. It began with the rivers of blood in 1966. Thousands of Biafran men, women and children, professionals, traders, students and families who had built lives across the federation became targets in the northern cities, fueled by ethnic hatred and religious mobs descended upon innocent civilians. They were slaughtered in their homes in crowded trains carrying desperate families back to the east. Streets were littered with bodies, rivers choked with corpses. Survivors returned to the east carrying more grief and the painful realization that they were no longer wanted in Nigeria. Voice of truth and freedom. The rising sun will rise again. Then came May 30th, 1967. A desperate act of survival. What followed were 30 months of unimaginable devastation. The Nigerian military, armed and backed by foreign powers, including Britain, Russia and Egypt, surrounded the young republic. A total blockade was imposed. No food, no medicine, no escape. Starvation became a weapon of war. 5 million, mostly civilians, many of them children, perished during what was not just a conflict but genocide against Biafra. Bombs fell on markets, hospitals and villages. Communities were razed. The world watched in silence while famine hollowed the faces of innocent children. Some nations spoke out, but many turned away. The war officially ended in paper in 1970 under the declaration. No vanquished yet for Biafrans. The suffering did not end. Their properties were confiscated, careers destroyed. Biafrans were given only £20 regardless of how much they had. Entire families struggled to rebuild shattered lives. The promise of reintegration faded into disappointment. Marginalization deepened in Nigerian government appointments. Infrastructure and control of resources from Biafran land. Oil flowing from the Biafra land enriched the center, while much of the east remained neglected. Roads deteriorated, industries collapsed. Biafra, Biafra. Voice of truth and freedom. The rising sun will rise again. The nightmare did not disappear, rather it evolved. Across Nigeria today, violence and insecurity continue to devastate communities. Armed attacks by Fulani herdsmen have left villages destroyed, farmers killed, women violated, children, churches burned. Boko Haram and its offshoots have unleashed terror across multiple regions in the southeast. Demands for Biafra and self-determination are often met with military crackdowns, arrests and bloodshed. Protesters have been killed, fear and tension continue to rise. These tragedies reflect the deadly consequences of vastly different peoples into one political structure. Through the 1914 British amalgamation, distinct ethnic nations, traditions, ideologies, and systems of governance were merged without consent and without shared national vision. The North's feudal and religious conservatism can never blend with the South's entrepreneurial drive. And the East Republican individualism attempts to hold the Union together continue to be at the cost of innocent blood. Why does BIAFRA matter?
BIAFRA means self-determination.
BIAFRA represents dignity, survival, and the rights of a people to life and choose their future.
BIAFRA
symbolizes resistance, innovation, enterprise, and hope. The vision is of a nation with secure borders, focused development, protection of its citizens, and economic engagement with the world of future, free from oppression, fear, and perpetual conflict. The solution is not endless political conferences, military force or federal quota system, but a peaceful separation based on shared values and voluntary association. History shows that artificial unions often fracture violently, while honest separation can allow wounded nations to recover.
BIAFRA is not dead. BIAFRA lives.
It lives because the desire for freedom cannot be extinguished. Nigeria's ongoing crisis, corruption, insecurity, poverty, and division are proof that one structure cannot hold people with dangerous diversities together. For the million already lost, for the children yet unborn.
BIAFRA.
Biafra independence is not
paramount in our existence today. The most
Thank you once again. Thank you for joining me. Sorry for that break in transmission. It is what it is. Sometimes, we make do of whatever situation we find ourselves. Good morning, Biafrans. Good afternoon, Biafrans. Good evening, Biafrans, and good night to some of you, depending on your location and your time. But here is good night, because here it is 8:20 p.m. here in my location. So wherever you are watching us from, I want to appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. Hit the like buttons, hit the share buttons, so that other people can join us on the studio to listen either via YouTube or X. These are the two platforms that we are streaming from right now, live and direct. You are getting us live and direct on YouTube, live and direct on X, Twitter. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being part of this program. This program is under the tutelage anchored by myself, but this program is in conjunction with the Biafran Republic government in exile. BRIGIE, BRGIE, under His Excellency Honorable Ogechukwu Nkere. He is the Prime Minister of the Biafran Republic government in exile. So anywhere that you are watching us from, please, I want you to share to your platforms. You can as well prepare to join us on the studio to make your own contribution. Because the stage that we are now is not a stage where everybody will be quiet. You have to speak, because the freedom that we are fighting is not a one-sided freedom. You are not fighting for Ogechukwu Nkere's freedom. You are not fighting for MAZI Sonny Akbarawa's freedom. You are not fighting for IPOB only. You are not fighting for MAZI Nnamdi Kanu only, or Simon Ekpa. We are fighting for over 80 million Biafrans all over the world. So you have a part to play. You have a very big part to play, either in the media, either you are part of the media, or you are sharing what is coming out from the media, or financially you are supporting. Anywhere that you see that you can support the freedom, do well to support, because that is what is needed at this critical time. So thank you so much for joining me. This is the Questionnaire platform, anchored by myself, Mazi David Nana. The Biafran Restoration Project is everybody's business. It is my business, and it should also be your business. Biafrans are all over the world. We have scattered all over the countries of the world. I don't think there is any country in this planet Earth that you cannot see Biafrans. I don't think it's possible. You ask yourself, what are we doing all over the countries of the world? You can see Biafrans in Afghanistan. You can see Biafrans in Turkey. You can see Biafrans in Liberia. You can see Biafrans in Qatar. Anywhere that life exists, you are going to see Biafrans there. You ask yourself, why are you seeing Biafrans? Why have Biafrans traveled all this wide? But I want to let you know that not every countries of this world, their citizens, not every countries of this world that you can find their citizens all over the world looking for greener pastures. It's not happening. Americans can only come for Nigeria when they have interest. UK will come to Nigeria when they have interest. They can travel to any other country that they have interest, not independent. These people are partly government functional. Those who are working for American government, you can find them all over countries of the world because they have interest that they are protecting for the security of their nation. But when it comes to the case of Biafrans, you see that independent individuals risk their life, risk their resources to go to countries that even persecute them in order to seek for greener pasture. So Nigerians, Biafrans, you see Biafrans all over the world. It is not healthy, but that is what it is. And what is the reason why you will see us all over the world? Because our land is not conducive for us. We are not comfortable in our land. The policies in our land are driving us out of our land. Our land, the fertility of the land of Biafra has not been harnessed. The government make policies that are pursuing us out of our land, seeking for greener pastures all over the world. You can see Biafrans traveling through the Mediterranean Sea, even when the journey is so hazardous. There are a lot of risks that we take in order to survive. This is as a result of what the Nigerian government is doing or has done to the Biafran people. And we have been in this situation for a very long time. and it's time we change the status quo. So that is why you see Biafrans all over the world, and this time around, we have to do something to that effect to make sure that we now minimize the way we go outside the country. We now minimize how we suffer, how our people die all over the world in search of greener pastures. And because of the situation that we find ourselves under Nigeria, it is very, very imperative that we let our people understand what is actually playing out. And the reason why every one of us should come together, must come together to support the Biafran Republic government in exile. Now, coming to what we are going to treat today, I want us, this is not, a one-sided broadcast. So if you are listening to me, I have already put a link on the comment section so that you can join me and make your own candid submission, because everybody is affected by what is happening today. Everybody is affected by anything that you see happening today. If you think that you are not affected, wait until it blows out and affects the freedom that all of us are fighting to get. Then you will understand that you are directly or indirectly affected by what is playing out today. Since 1967 to 1970, during the Biafra Nigerian Civil War, a lot actually happened, Even most of us were not born, but we read about it. We knew about it. We are even told. We were told about what actually happened during the war and even after the war. We were meant to understand the atrocities that the Nigerian government committed against the Biafran people, against the Biafran nation, against our women, against the children. And it is very, very worrisome, the level of destruction of lives and properties that happened between 1967 to 1970. The level of destruction, the level of genocide, because it was a genocide that happened, but Nigerian government did not want to talk about it. They did not want to talk about the atrocity they committed against the Biafran people because they know they committed a war crime. War crimes were committed, genocide were committed against the Biafran people. So in order to cover their tracks, in order to prevent the world from knowing actually what happened, and in order to cover the atrocity, the Nigerian government prevented Biafrans, prevented students from knowing actually what transpired during the war. Nigerian government removed history from the curriculum. They removed history from the curriculum for a particular reason. Reason being that they do not want people to know what actually happened, to read about it, because they know what they did was very much inhumane, was a war crime against the Biafran people. Only the blockade is enough to hold every Nigerian leader into account during that days, because you cannot use hunger as a form to win the war. So all these things we are trying, Nigeria trying to blanket this out of the media. But it's just like what happened in Biafra was just like pregnancy. No matter how you try to cover it, no matter how you try to, make people believe that it did not exist, the more it becomes very obvious. Your actions become very obvious to the people what you are actually trying to cover. You are trying to cover your tracks. So what happened in Biafra was a complete genocide by the Nigerian state. And while we were talking about the Nigerian atrocity against the Biafran people, we also have a scenario where Biafrans were also actively involved. Biafrans were aiding and supporting the Nigerian government atrocity against their own people. And this is called sabotage. Sabotage is a means whereby you give your enemy what they need to fight against your people. You support your enemy against your people. You take information that are beneficial to your people to your enemy. You do things that are dampening the image of your own nation. There are a lot of things when you talk about sabotage. It means there are a whole variety of ways to sabotage a nation. So a lot of Biafrans between 1967 to 1970 actively participated in the atrocities that happened against their people. And there are two people that strike a significant chord whenever you talk about sabotage between 1967 to 1970. Whenever you talk about people who fought against Ojukwu, or people who stood against Ojukwu, or people who stood against Biafra, two people's name comes to mind. Ukpa Sika and Ifeajuna. And their name comes up in a very bad way. That is why Ifeajuna, you cannot see anybody answering Ifeajuna today. Ukpa Sika is a name that nobody would like to answer because they were associated with evil. They were associated with sabotage. So between 1967 to 1970, sabotage happened. Sabotage of Biafra have continued from that time to this moment, to this period that we are. In this particular time that we are fighting to restore our nation. In this particular time that we are in a very good position. We are in a very good position to restore our lost glory, to restore our nation. In this time, sabotage too happens. So, and you ask yourself, why is every time we talk about Ukpa Sika or we talk about Ifeajuna, why do we talk about these people? The reason why you talk about Ukpa Sika and Ifeajuna is because their actions and activities during the 1967 to 70 were actually inimical, was against what Biafran people stood for. It was against what our eternal leader Odumegwu Ojukwu stood for. It was against what the Biafran soldiers stood for. It was against what the Biafran people, the totality of the Biafran people stood for. Ukpabiasika, his full name was Anthony Ukpabiasika. Anthony Ukpabiasika. And the other man was Emmanuel Ifeajuna. Emmanuel Ifeajuna. Both of them were accused of betrayal during the Nigerian Biafran Civil War. Though their cases differ in significant nature, evidence, and outcome, their accusations reflect on the polarized views of the conflict. Whenever you are against me, you are my brother. But when I'm doing something, we agreed on something and we are fighting towards a particular goal, and you are opposing that view that it is generally accepted by a majority of the people, that is when we regard you as sabotage, or a sabo, to cut it short, as a sabo. So you ask yourself, what was the crime of all these two individuals that each time we talk about them? Yes, we have to talk about them because we have to use them to give an example of what is playing out today. In 1967 to 1970, Ifeajuna was a celebrated, is a good Biafran who is known in high jump, and he has been winning so many laurels for Nigeria. And then, he had won so many laurels in high jump in Commonwealth Games. And he was among those who, was part of the 1966 coup. He also joined the Biafran side immediately when the war started. He joined the Biafran war. But even as he is a Biafran, this man is Biafran. He joined the Biafran war, okay? And he was supposed to fight alongside eternal leader and the Biafran soldiers. He was supposed to help Odumegwu Ojukwu. He was supposed to help the Biafran soldiers in contributing positively to what was going to help the Biafran people to win the war. That is what you are supposed to do as a Biafran soldier, as somebody who is fighting with his people who have been under intense bombardment by the Nigerian government. But do you know what Ukpabiasika was doing? While the Biafran soldiers were fighting their lives out, trying to prevent the enemy from gaining access into Biafran land and overrunning our people, Ukpabiasika was very busy plotting how to overthrow Colonel Odumegwu Ojukwu. Why Odumegwu Ojukwu was focused, how are we going to be able to free our people from this Nigerian government atrocity? We want to have a free nation. We have to have a free state. We have to be able to govern ourselves. He doesn't want our people to be killed, to die like fowls and chickens that they have been dying in the hands of the Nigerian state. So while he was pushing for the soldiers to fight so that Nigeria, they can be able to subdue Nigeria, Ukpa was secretly negotiating a ceasefire with the federal government of Nigeria through the British to end the war early. He was even aiming to assassinate. You can imagine. They were using him. He wanted to assassinate Ojukwu and install another person to take over from Ojukwu because they want to end the war. You know. So it was very, very unfortunate that while the Biafran soldiers were fighting, while everybody was so focused on how they can win Nigeria, on how they can prevent Nigeria from gaining more ground in Biafra land, Ukpa Biasika was busy plotting how he was going to work along Victor Banjo, Philip Alaye, and Sam Akpam. They were trying to see how they can make the Nigerian government overrun Biafra very fast. Ukpa Biasika was very much instrumental to Nigerian government entering Enugu and was also giving them intelligence on how they can be able to fight the Biafran forces. So he was actually committing military treason. Yes, he was actually fighting against his own blood. He was actually plotting to assassinate a man who wanted to free his people out of bondage. In other words, he was helping Gowon. He was helping Nigeria to see how they can overthrow Ojukwu, to see how they can assassinate him, so that Biafra can fall as early as possible to the terrorist Nigerian government. That is what Ifeajuna. That is what Ifeajuna did. Ifeajuna was aiming to assassinate or remove our eternal leader, Ojukwu, with another colonel, Victor Banjo, to overthrow the Biafran forces under Ojukwu, to assassinate Ojukwu and hand over Biafran forces to the Nigerian state. That is one of the atrocities of Ifeajuna. In the other hand, you have a man called Dr. Anthony Ukpa Biasika. He also was an Igbo academic, a lecturer in political science at the University of Ibadan. What was his crime? He opposed Biafra exit from Nigeria. You can imagine. You can imagine what our Biafran forces were undergoing to. You can imagine what Nigerian government was doing to the Biafran people, even before the war. But even as these atrocities were being committed, Ukpa Biasika opposed. He opposed Biafra exit from Nigeria. He opposed the declaration of Biafra, and instead of joining forces, he was staying in the West and was assisting Nigerian government in planning against the Biafran region, the Biafran people. It is very, very sad. He even accepted appointment as administrator of Southeastern State. A role that he was playing, he was actually collaborating with Gowon, with the enemy. He was actually fighting against Biafra while Biafra was still controlled. While Biafran forces were controlling under the control the East. Ukpa Biasika was taking position under Nigeria to fight against his people. He even, in a press conference in London in 1968, while it was being said that Nigeria was committing genocide against the Biafran people, he has an opportunity of corroborating that evidence. Do you know what? He downplayed and said that there is nothing like a genocide that was committed against the Biafran people. These are the people who were, for their atrocities, for having to stand against their people. Ukpa Biasika and Ufajuna. These names will never be erased from eternity for eternity as people who fought against their own nation, against their own people. It is very, very unfortunate. So when you leave Ukpa Biasika, that was in 1967 to 1970, you come down to 1999, when Uwazurike resurrected the movement. Uwazurike resurrected the Biafra under MASOP, Movement for the Actualization of Biafra. Uwazurike created a lot of awareness for Biafra. But unfortunately, Uwazurike also was sabotaged, just like Ojukwu was sabotaged. Uwazurike was also sabotaged, and Uwazurike also joined the Nigerian government to try to sabotage MAZI NNAMDI. So in the history of the Biafran restoration project, sabotage is something that you can never rule out, because people sabotage because a lot of reasons. People sabotage for economic reasons. People sabotage because they look at themselves as they cannot do what you are doing. So therefore, they don't want you to achieve that which they cannot achieve. They sabotage out of hatred, out of envy, and out of jealousy. But more importantly, some sabotage because of political reasons and financial gains. Fast forward to MAZI NNAMDI KANU. There were also a lot of sabotages. The IPOB Nigeria, the DOS that we are talking about today, sabotaged MAZI NNAMDI KANU when it was very, very glaring to everybody to see in 2021, when MAZI NNAMDI KANU was kidnapped. They stopped every action geared towards holding Nigerian government into account. And we were also told by the governor of Anambra State, Soludo, that he was now working with those who were supposed to hold Nigerian government into account. You see, so there is no way we can rule out sabotage in any freedom fighting organization or government or something like that. But If it continues to happen over and over again, it means that those who are actively involved in the leadership do not take precautions and have not learned anything, neither did they read any history about how to prevent such sabotages and how to act when they see one. So under MAZI and KANU, there was also sabotage. Under Simon Ekpa also came another sabotage, because Simon Ekpa was also sabotaged by people who were also part of the government. But it was on a different level altogether, because while Wazirike was under group, while MAZI and KANU was under group, under Simon Ekpa, we now had a government. And in a government, it's become very, very difficult for a particular individual to sabotage and succeed if the entirety of the cabinet or the government is not in support of what the person is doing. So sabotage have always played a significant part in Biafran restoration. It has marred, it has tried to destroy the progress that we have made in our quest to be free out of the terrorist Nigerian state. While MAZI and KANU was also here, there are a lot of sabotages. You see Tony Nnadi coming on board. You see Asari Dokubo coming on board. You see Wazirike coming on board. All these people culminated to the reason why Biafra has not been restored at this particular time. Because while you try to make headways, while you try to progress, while you try to move to the next stage, you will see people that are forming a kind of stumbling block, trying to derail, trying to stop you, trying to destroy what you are doing. That has been what their plan has been, because of envy, jealousy, and greed, or because of their political affiliations with the slave master, those who are holding you hostage, and as well the financial gains that they are going to make. Now, having given this a little bit background, I want us to go into what we are seeing today under Biafran Republic government in exile. In 2024, after December 2nd, after the redeclaration of Biafra in Finland, in Lahti, Finland, another group of individuals who were working for the Nigerian government tried to destroy the Biafran Republic government in exile by trying to sabotage the finance and trying to sabotage the military, which are classified areas when it comes to government. But unfortunately for them, the Biafran restoration project have gotten into a stage that it is very, very difficult for anybody to sabotage and succeed. And besides, the man at the helm of the affairs of Biafran restoration project at this time, MAZI is not taking chances. He's not taking chances at all. So under him, he has vowed that Biafra, nobody can sabotage and succeed. So while Ngozi Arabueze tried to destroy the government, the Biafran cabinet members, Ogechukwu Nkere, Sonia Akparawa, the lobbyists, the attorneys, were actively, solidly behind Briggy to make sure that nothing of sort happened. The same thing happens in 2025 when Madabu and some group from also the same government broke away and tried to destroy what the government is doing and tried to destroy the template to Biafran restoration. But again, the government was able to checkmate their excesses and put them in their proper position. And while they tried their best to see how they can destroy what Briarija is doing, they found out that it is very, very difficult for them to penetrate the foundation of Briggy. They find it very, very difficult to penetrate the foundation of Briggy. And that is why today you can see how they tried, you can see how they are crying, and you can see how far they have gone. And in every aspect, in every process they try to take, they meet a brick wall. Because why? The foundation of Briggy was in such a way that Ogechukwu Nkere, the prime minister, learned a lot from what happened to Odumegwu Ojukwu. He also learned a lot from what happened to Wazirike. He also learned a lot from what happened to MAZI NNAMDI KANU. And he was able to put it into play in practice while he was under the Biafran government in exile. And he's not taking chances. Anybody that tried to sabotage the government, there is a punishment that awaits that person. And that is why today we are going to look into the latest sabotage of the Biafran Republic government in exile. In this scenario, it is now not about the individuals. It is now happening in Biafran de facto government in the homeland. It is now happening in the Biafran Defense Forces. Those who were charged with the responsibility to protect the Biafran region, to protect the Biafran women and children. Those who should be apolitical. They should not, the Biafran Defense Forces have no time in taking sides. What their main focus should be is the protection of the territorial integrity of the Biafran nation. That is their focus point. That should be the focus point of the Biafran Defense Forces. But it is very, very unfortunate, I must say, very, 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 very unfortunate that the Biafran Defense Forces, instead of focusing on the territorial integrity, protection of our land, protection of our women and children, the Biafran Defense Forces have now forgotten what their responsibility is. The Biafran Defense Forces have forgotten what their responsibility is in Biafran restoration movement. In 2023, during the Helsinki Declaration by the former Prime Minister MAZI Simon Ekpanjoko, we are meant to understand that the Eastern Security Network, we were meant to understand that the Eastern Security Network was collapsed, has been collapsed, into the Biafran Defense Forces. BDF, Black Marines, resistant fighters. And that was a very welcome development. A welcome development because we graduated from IPOB to autopilot when MAZI Nnamdi Kanu was betrayed and he was kidnapped. A lot of killings started happening because they wanted to destroy the security outfit that was set up by the Biafran people. A lot of volunteers fell. A lot of lives were lost as a result of the sabotage of the Biafran defense of the Eastern Security Network. So the then Prime Minister, former Prime Minister MAZI Simon Ekwanjoko, the government now came together and brought out a mechanism where all the Biafran forces, every arm carrying group in Biafra now agreed that they are going to work under the Biafran government in exile. And therefore, every Eastern Security Network that was then being killed, they now joined the Biafran government in exile. And the Eastern Security Network then was collapsed into the Biafran Defense Forces, the Black Marines, the resistant fighters, the Air Force, and all the rest of them. They were now under the Biafran government in exile, fighting for the protection, fighting for the defense of Biafra land. There was nothing like Eastern Security Network as at 2023. Till date, it was all Biafran Defense Forces. Even as the Nigerian government, they do not want to, mention Biafran Defense Force. You hear them always saying Eastern Security Network, where there is no Eastern Security Network. Even when the Biafran Defense Forces tell them that we are the ones in charge of Biafra land, Nigerian government refused to acknowledge that. They refused to mention that name. But there was nothing like Eastern Security Network as of 2023. So, Biafran people saw how the Biafran Defense Forces were protecting our land. They were under the tutelage, under the Biafran government in exile, and that is the name they were known for. Nobody now talk about Eastern Security Network because they do not exist. They no longer existed because they were chased out. Most of them fell by Chinasa Nworu death squad. Most of them were snitched upon. Some were, arrested. Some were killed. You saw how they were being chased as of 2020, 2021, 22. Before even early 23, before the defense forces were sanitized and now collapsed into the Biafran Defense Forces. But as it has always been customary to a lot of Biafrans who are gullible, who are enemies of Biafra, sabotage must certainly set in. So I want you to understand that the Biafran Defense Forces then, the Biafran Defense Forces was formerly headed by Igwe Butuza. And we saw the likes of to.the Yahoo, because they were the ones on social media. You saw Angel Makeup. These are the ones that are coming to social media. But the Biafran Defense Forces does not revolve all around these three people. There are over 100,000 men that are under arms of the Biafran Defense Forces. But it is only these people that you can hear or see on the social media. So they thought that they have just arrived. You can hear in some cases where this Biafran, this gentle, sometimes they say they were poisoned, right? You will ask yourself, how can the Biafran Defense Forces be poisoned in Biafra land? If they don't have anything to do with the politicians, if they are not having some kind uncalled for gatherings with some political elements in Biafra land, but that is for another day. You begin to wonder when they say they poisoned them, they did this, they did that. How did it happen? It was as a result that these people were doing certain things that are against the formation of the Biafran government in exile, because they were in the homeland and they thought that they can do anything and get away with it. It is very, very sad. You will also recall that some weeks ago, we had some voices, even some voices through the Biafran, the same Biafran Defense Forces then, because it is very, very important that our people understand that these people did not start today to try their sabotage against the Biafran government. You remember when Ngozi was saying that she had contact with them. You also remember when they were going to platform of Vam Vam Vam. You also heard when they were speaking with Ada Ndocho. A lot of things have been happening, but because the Biafran government was actively focused in what is happening in Washington, D.C., most of these Biafran Defense Forces were doing things that ordinarily they shouldn't be doing. They should have been focused on Biafran Restoration Project. Why would they be talking to the government as well as talking to those who are fighting against the government, as well as talking to the Nigerian government agents? Why? Why would the Biafran Defense Forces, those who are supposed to be part and parcel to protect our land, our territory, why would they be liaising with Nigeria agent in Biafra land, and as well trying to speak to the government, as well romancing with Emma, as well romancing with Ngozi? How possible is that? Because they thought that Ukpabia Sika, Ifajuna, those who betrayed Wazirike, those who betrayed MAZI and KANU are still walking very much free. Nothing happened to them. They are living their lives, enjoying their money. So they can play second fiddle, they can do anything and get away with it. So last month, yes, you can hear when they were telling you that, oh, that was the voice of Gentle, that, oh, they don't have anything to do with the government. They don't have anything, that they are not getting funds from the government and all this and all that. And you will be asking, if these people are actually following Biafran government in exile, how can they go to Imam Madabu and take money? They go to Ngozi and take money. And they tried the government to also come and speak to them. How possible is that? The last time I checked, Ngozi Orabufulani is fighting against BRGIE. Ima Mahmudu is fighting against BRGIE. Then those who are supposed to be the protectors of Biafra land are romancing between those who are castigating and fighting against our government. And you expect the government not to take action against them, even when the government tried to call them to order. Then it is very, very sad that in 2023 we had nothing to do with Eastern Security Network because it was collapsed into the Biafran Defense Forces. And today, the same people that told you that they are the Biafran Defense Forces, very few of them, of course. Let me tell you, Biafrans, over 80 million Biafrans that are listening or that may listen, that are part of this freedom. There are more than 100,000 men under arms. The fraction of these people that you see speaking are not up to 1% of the body of men and women that are protecting Biafra land. But because they are on social media, because they are media, you think that they control a vast majority. No. There are divisions. They have divisions in Biafran Defense Forces. Okay? So, if these people who came out to tell you that they are the Eastern Security Network, just like they have been suspended by the government, I want to let Biafrans understand that these people are actually not up to 0.1% of the Biafran Defense Forces. So nobody should lose sleep over them. So, like I was saying, how can we in 2023 say that we are now in government and the government under Montevideo Convention requirement, we should have a military, not a security agent, not a security outfit, not a security group of security men and women, no. And the government have Biafran, we call it Biafran Defense Forces, not Eastern Security Network. This is not a security that is going to guide your company. It's a security. This is Biafran Defense Forces. So when they were collapsed into the Biafran Defense Forces, there is nothing like any security group anywhere. So for them to come in now to tell you that, oh, talking about Eastern Security Network, it is a very pure sabotage on these men and women that found themselves in that Biafran Defense Forces. But I want to play that video.
You from the office of Major General Gento under the leadership of General Igwe Butozo, the Chief of Armed Forces of Biafra Nation, Okigwe Senatorial Zone. Official statement from the Eastern Security Network.
Can you hear? I want you to let us start again. I want us to listen to what this Ekuke is saying.
Good afternoon, good evening, depending your time zone and the location. My names are Onyedikachi Okorie, aka Angel Makeup. Today's date is 28th of June 2026. This information is coming to you from the office of Major General Gento under the leadership of General Igwe Butozo.
What this man is telling you here is that what he is reading is coming as a directive from Gento, who is in charge of Okigwe under Biafran Defense Forces. And it is supported by Igwe Butuzo, who purportedly, before his suspension, was the Chief of Defense Staff of the Biafran Nation. But I want you all to look at this man that is reading this angel makeup is not a member of the Eastern Security Network. He is a Biafran Defense Force. Igwe Butoza is a Biafran Defense Force. Was a Biafran Defense Force. Gento was a Biafran Defense Force. And look at the uniform that they are wearing. This uniform is the Biafran resistant fighters. Is under the Biafran resistant fighters. So, and this uniform they are wearing is a uniform that is under the Biafran Defense Force. So, Biafran resistant fighter uniform. That is what this angel makeup is here is wearing to make this nonsensical announcement. It is very, very sad. So, Biafrans, I want you to just picture a scenario on how can you vomit your spit? You vomit and you later go and take up your vomit. You go and swallow it again. We have passed the stage of Eastern Security Network. There is nothing like Eastern Security Network. So you ask yourself, where are these people coming from? What is the reason why these men should stoop so low to talk about the Eastern Security Network that have been collapsed for years? For years, if not that they have some ulterior motive behind them. More importantly, you may not blame those who are carrying arms and surrounding them. No, because that is how command works. They may not agree, but they have to obey the command. So, and that is why it is when you look at what the Biafran Defense Forces, the memo that came out from the de facto government in the homeland, the three people that their names are mentioned here are the ones who have been suspended from the Biafran Defense Forces. Igwe Butuzo, Gento, and this Njemeko. Because what they committed is regarded as they committed treason against the Biafran government. Mutiny. They have rebelled against the government. They have rebelled against the government. Are they now telling you that, oh, from Biafran Defense Forces, they are going back to Eastern Security Network, where the Biafran government are moving ahead with international engagement in Washington, D.C.? If Americans should look down and ask for Biafran Defense Forces how they want to help the government of Biafra in order to be free, are you going to tell them that, oh, you are under the control of the Eastern Security Network? Is that what you are going to say? These are the people who, instead of them to focus on the freedom that they came, they are looking for peanuts. They are looking for how to make money. They are looking for how they can be able to destroy what the government have done, because their action amount to treason. Let us listen and hear what he has to say.
The Chief of Armed Forces of Biafra Nation, Okigwe Senatorial Zone. Official statement from the Eastern Security Network.
Official statement from the Eastern Security Network. Is he a member of the? That means now he's a member of the Eastern Security Network and wearing the uniform of the Biafran resistant fighters. Then putting the picture of MAZI NNAMDI. Was MAZI NNAMDI the one who established resistant fighters? The answer is no. So why are these people trying to sabotage what the government is doing?
ESN. Strong warning to all those sabotaging the IPOB Code of Conduct.
Did we not give IPOB vote of no confidence on the leadership of IPOB? So, although IPOB, indigenous people of Biafra, every one of us is there, but as a group, we do not recognize them as a group. So why are these people trying to destroy MAZI NNAMDI KANU? Why? Because what they are doing is actually against what MAZI NNAMDI KANU stands for. Because MAZI NNAMDI KANU is still in detention, and anything that they are doing using the name of MAZI NNAMDI KANU is going to backfire against MAZI NNAMDI KANU. But they don't understand. They think that they are doing the government. They think that they want to sabotage the government. They think that they can play the Nigerian government card and succeed, not knowing that they are directly and indirectly destroying MAZI NNAMDI KANU while he's still in detention.
The Eastern Security Network is watching with serious concern as some people are trying to destroy the IPOB Code of Conduct and they challenge the authority of our Supreme Onyendu MAZI NNAMDI KANU.
So what it means that what they did here is defection. They have defected to Eastern Security Network. They are no longer part of the Biafran Liberation Army, Biafran Defense Forces, resistance fighters, and that is why I really applaud our government for suspending 3 of them. Very, very important, because Biafran government in exile is in charge of the Biafran resistance fighters, Black Marines, Biafran Defense Forces. The Eastern Security Network do no longer exist. So if these people are trying to bring back the Eastern Security Network, why would it be the Biafran Defense Forces that are coming out to make that pronouncement? Those who are supposed to be under Biafran Republic government in exile and the Biafran Defense Forces. If there are no incentives that have been promised all these people in order to destabilize the government in exile. But one thing they don't know is that the foundation of Briggy was laid on a very solid foundation, and there is nothing they can do. Maybe they think that they are indispensable. Nobody in Biafran restoration is indispensable. If you think that you are the be all and end all, Chukwu Okike Abiama will always bring somebody who is better than you. As a result, it is good that all these kind of things happen so that we know those who are actually fighting for the restoration of Biafra.
The IPOB Code of Conduct is our constitution. It clearly says that only the supreme leader has the power to appoint, suspend, dismiss, or dissolve any principal officer. Anything the dissolved third administration is saying or doing now is null and void. It has no effect. IPOB is not like Nigeria, where people ignore rules and grab power anyhow. In IPOB, rules are rules. Commands and control are very important. Authority comes only from the supreme leader. We are under one command, and the supreme authority of Onyendu MAZI NNAMDI KANU. That authority is set in stone until only he says otherwise. No subordinate or dissolved group can suspend or challenge the office that created them. A sacrifice that must not be forgotten. When nobody cared about our people, onye ndu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu formed IPOB and created ESN. It is because of his courage that our land has fared better than most places under Fulani attack. For any human being to choose this time to attack the dignity of his office is a sacrilege that will never be forgiven. Those who dream they can remove or insult his office, less statement must be smoking drugs along with their political masters like Chukwuma Soludo, who is their chief sponsor. Warning to all saboteurs. At this dangerous time, when our people are facing attacks and the internal sabotage will not be tolerated. The Eastern Security Network stands 100% with the Supreme Leader and the Code of Conduct. We advise journalists and the media houses to read the IPOB Code of Conduct before publishing anything on this matter. Issued by Eastern Security Network, ESN.
It's very, very sad. Very, very sad listening to former Biafran Defense Force member Angel Makeup demoting himself, demoting Gentle the Yahoo, demoting themselves, Igwe Butus are demoting themselves to Eastern Security Network. These are people whom we have respected. These are people whom the government respected and gave them positions of authority under the Biafra Defense Force, the resistance fighters, to be in charge of certain areas in Biafra land. These people were here when Eastern Security Network was collapsed into the Biafran Defense Forces. I don't know where they get the advice of what they are doing from. Maybe they got it from a madman, because it's really, it's incomprehensible.
Can you hear me, Mazi?
I can hear you, Reg. Wait first, wait. This is really sad. It is very, very incomprehensible that a general that we call him 3-star general, a whole Igwe Butuza, who is stooped so low to leave Biafran Defense Force, which he knows is the apex military of the Biafran government. And he understands that the Eastern Security Network is not in existence. What might have been his reason for bringing himself down, falling from grace to grass? Gentle also, people whom the government so much puts trust on, people who should be more reasonable, more exposed, people who should be more intelligent to understand that when you leave the Biafran Defense Force to come to Eastern Security Network, you are already demoting yourself. Under what basis are these people saying they are now the Eastern Security
We cannot hear you again. Oh. Are you still there?
Under what basis are these people now bringing themselves down to the level of Eastern Security Network? It's really sad. So, Biafrans, I want you to try to reason very well. And as well, I will also play what our Prime Minister, His Excellency Honorable Ogechukwu Nkere, did, which is very, very welcome by me. I really appreciate our Prime Minister. He's a man, a no-nonsense man. For you to understand that sabotage has no place in Biafran government in exile. And if you feel that you are indispensable, try to sabotage the government and the government will do away with you. Look at the Biafran media, how strong the media is now. Before now, a lot of people think that without them, the media cannot hold. Look at how exceptional the media is moving. See our information minister. Is there any information minister that you can compare to even the current information ministers in countries? You can't. See how the government is moving. Yet, people do not see reason why they should support the government. People do not see reason why they should stop this sabotage, trying to destroy the freedom that their people are fighting for. Rage, go ahead, my brother. Welcome to the questionnaire platform.
Thank you. MAZI. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. As a matter of fact, I
There, what?
greet you, my dear. Yes, sir. I greet you, my dear brother David. Greetings to you all, Biafrans all over the world. Past leaders, present leaders, and future leaders. I extend my greetings to the faithful and loyal personnel of the Biafra Defense Forces, which I believe is the Biafra Army, the army that defended the Biafra land and who are faithful to the government. I really want to say very big thank you. It's very heartbreaking to see that stuff like this would happen as a result of the low mentality and low educational background. You understand? Because if you are educated, these people could have understood that you cannot fight for a nation with a security axis. You need an army. You need an army to fight for a nation. And an army is only a government that can create an army, not an organization. But unfortunately, these people are not really educated enough to understand it from this perspective, or they are not really deep enough in their reasoning to see it from this light. Understand? So, and today they go front, tomorrow they go back, next tomorrow. Unstable man. It's very dangerous to trust an unstable man. An unstable man is a man who doesn't know where he is going to. You understand? And this is the situation we find ourselves. That's why sometimes it's very painful that I've seen all of these things happening for a very long time. You understand? Just that sometimes if we want to air our view, if we want to speak our mind, we are kind of restricted. So to speak, sometimes when you want to where you spot red light and you want to point them out. The almighty BDF. Don't speak about BDF. Come from there. You understand? But all these things, I've been seeing all these things from a very, very long time. You understand? Long time ago. It's unfortunate that they are manifesting now. This same Jamaica was the same guy that came up to speak some time ago, and he was saying that Gento is being accused of killing people in one community like that, and he said that in time past, one of the Nigerian politicians, when they were still ESN, that one of the Nigerian politicians invited them to come and render security services in his community. And I was wondering that you as a security of Biafra, your focus is to restore Biafra. What is your connection? What business do you have with Nigeria politicians to go and render services for a Nigerian politician in Biafra land? Even if you if you want to do that, if you wanted to do that, you will do it in the name of you are doing it for Biafra. You don't need to be called by any Nigerian security, a Nigerian politician to come and render security service to him. You do it because of the reason why you are created. That is the protection and the defense of the Biafra territory of our babies, women, and children. That should be the reason. But you know, these people, because of their level of education, he was not even ashamed. He still came up to be saying it on the media. Say he did not even know the effect of what he's saying. That from then I now understood that some of these people, even though say Nigeria politicians give them money because most of them where money comes from is where they follow. Most of these people, if you see Nigeria politicians come today, give them money to go and smash ballot boxes for Nigeria election. They will go and do it. After tomorrow, they will come back to be claiming that they are personnel of Biafra Defense Force. You know, so but what the message I have for them is that you cannot fight for a nation with a security outfit. You need an army. You understand? And this is what the former leader, Onyedu, whom we still love very well, we have not abandoned him. Just that everything we are doing is to protect him. You understand? We don't really want to attach some of these things to his name because he's not a free man, because they are going to compound his case and they will complicate what is going through over there. You understand? This is why we refuse to attach his name to certain things. Not that we don't love him, not that Biafrans don't love him, not that Biafra Republic government do not love him, but we want it to come out quickly. But it seems like some of these so-called the makeup and them, I don't know whether they don't want this man to come out as quick as possible. I don't really understand. I don't understand. You understand? So this is why you see that the Biafra Republic government in exile is doing a lot in Washington D.C. to the point that he has even taken the case of former leader MAZI and former Prime Minister Simon Ekpa to Washington D.C., which was highlighted in one of the congressional briefing by Rev. James. You understand? Which was also highlighted in the testimony that was given, submitted to the United States of America. This is the way to go about it, because one thing these people need to understand is that our former leader MAZI KANU and our former Prime Minister Simon Ekpa, these are just political prisoners. One was kidnapped by Nigeria from Kenya, rendition to Nigeria, not because he committed a personal crime. It's because he's fighting for the freedom of people. So it's just a political victim, you understand? Likewise, the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa. And for you to release this kind of people, it's not by tomorrow you want to go and engage one police station, we are shooting back. That's not the way to release this type of people, this type of political prisoners. It's not by going to engage one government and you are shooting back. That is not the way. It's for you to take the matter to the international community. And when great nations like the United States of America step in, these people will be released immediately. So when these people are behaving like this, it seems like they don't even want all these our leaders, the former leaders, to come out. That is why they behave like this. One question I've always asked, or one advice I've given to people, go and ask the Venezuelans when Maduro was captured by the United States of America, how many political prisoners have been set free in Venezuela as a result of Maduro being captured? Because these political prisoners were imprisoned as a result of their political standpoint or viewpoint. Nothing that any lawyer from Venezuela would have done, nothing that any citizen of Venezuela would have done to Maduro to release all these political prisoners that were released immediately. America stepped in and Maduro was captured. But I don't know why it is very difficult, because the level of illiteracy with our people is just, man, the illiteracy is too high, just too high.
It's too high, brother. It's too high.
Yes. They are so dumb, they can't even reason. You say you are going to hold all these politicians that are bringing terrorists to our land accountable. Every now and then, every weekend, week in, week out, Soludo is always with you there. You have not been able to hold him accountable. Uhofu Zodima has always been there with you. You have not been able to hold him accountable. Sheriff in Delta State has been there. You have not been able to hold him accountable. Akpabo will come in with his entourage, with his envoys. You have not been able to hold him accountable. You on your own, you don't have the power, the ability to hold these people accountable. Rather, they will be the one to deal with you. But the moment you take this matter to the international community, and big countries like America step into it, before you know, all these political prisoners that you see, the former leader and former prime minister, they will be released, and thousands of their fans that are even languishing in these different prisons and cells that we don't even know anything about, they will be released. So when these people are committing this act of sabotage, The most painful aspect of it is the dead. They are sabotaging the dead. It doesn't even pay me if they sabotage the living. But what about the dead? Is it that they don't really want to get this freedom? So if they don't want to get this freedom, why did they allow our people that have died for this cause, our people that have been killed for this cause, a lot of their friends, colleagues in the former years and even in the former, even in the Biafra Defense Forces current that have been killed, a lot of Biafrans that have been adopted and killed for this Biafran cause. If you don't want to achieve Biafra for them, why did you step in the first place? So they are sabotaging the blood of our people that have been shed for this cause. That is the most painful aspect of it. And the biggest sabotage is when a brother sabotages a brother. Because if you sabotage a foreigner, the foreigner will go to his fatherland. He might not remember you again. But if you sabotage your clansman, your brother, or your sister, the mark will always be there for generation to generation. That's why you see the likes of Ifajuna and the other one you mentioned again. You understand? When
Yeah.
you understand? By the time they committed this evil act against our people, some of our parents were not even born then. Not to talk of some of us being born. We were not born. But look at it today. They are working.
We are still reading about them. Yes, we are still reading about them. And not for the good reason, oh.
Not for the good reason. Why should it be like that? So that is why everybody must be very careful as a result of what they do. At the end of the day, history will record whatever you do, whether good or bad. We were not born then, but today we know about them. And whenever we hear about them, they are speaking about them, we begin to lay curses on them, even though the curse will not even work on them. We begin to. So one question you want to ask: do this Babi Asika, Emmanuel Ifajuna, do they not have families? How come we don't hear about their family? I've not even heard about the Azikiwe family as well. But we hear about Ojukwu family. We are hearing about Ojukwu family. Simply because Ojukwu fought when Ojukwu was fighting this fight, people like me, I was not born. A lot of us were not born then, but grew up today, and we heard the story. And we love what he did for us. And we respect him as a result of what he did for us. So why this sabotage? As a result, at the end of the day, if we get this freedom today, all of us are going to enjoy this. Is it a crime for Biafra land to be like Dubai? To have a country that is like Dubai in Biafra land? To have a country that is like Singapore in Biafra land? Is it a crime? To have a country that is like the United States of America in Biafra land? To have a country that is like one of these European countries in Biafra land? Is it a crime? This is what we are fighting for. And you make yourself a willing to. So this sabotage did not start from today. It has started, it has been around for time immemorial, for ages, that even our own blood were used to sabotage, to fight against our better life. So whenever we think about our pain, our suffering, the slavery we passed through today, we remember Ifajuna, that he is one of those that put us in it. We remember Azikiwe as one of those that put us in it. We remember the other one you mentioned as one of those that put us in it. So let everybody be very careful. I still want to appeal to the remaining Biafra Defense Forces that are still faithful. Please be faithful. You are on the right path. It is only a government that has the right, according to the this law, this international law that you just put there. What is the name again?
Montevideo Convention.
Yes, thank you, Montevideo Convention. As a result of that, it is only a government that has the right to create an army. And it is only an army that can fight for the freedom of a nation, not a security outfit. The security outfit cannot fight for the freedom of a nation. The fact that the ESN was collapsed, or that security outfit was collapsed into the Biafra Defense Force is just to upgrade to the international standard of freedom fighting. But it seems like these people going backward. It seems like they don't want to really get this freedom. So they don't care about the blood of their loved ones, their brothers and sisters. My brother and sister, no matter the sacrifice that you have paid, so long as you are still alive, you have not paid quarter of the sacrifice that the person that has died for this cause, the likes of Ikonso, the likes of Gentle Biggie, even the likes of Zuma the Rock, even though he was deceived, he came into the or ESN just to restore Biafra. You understand? So you that is still alive, no matter whether you are in exile, whether you are in prison, or whether you are hiding, my brother, you have not paid quarter price of what a dead person for this freedom has paid. I'm telling you the truth. Are you that is sabotaging? You are simply sabotaging these ones that have died for this cause. And that is the most painful thing. That is why you see your life so miserable. You see you can never do well, no matter how much is given to you today. Tomorrow you will still come up to beg because you have that habit of even sabotaging your brothers, not only your brothers, sabotaging the dead, your brother that died for your better life, for you to have a better life, for you to have freedom. You sabotage him. This is why you see your life jeze jeze, japa japa, nyaga nyaga, ziggy ziggy. You understand? Because as a result of your sabotage. So we really need to really. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, man. Lack
It's
of
very
education.
unfortunate, Rage.
Yes,
It's very, very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate that at this dying minute, where we are close to our freedom, where Washington, D.C. is focusing on the issue of Biafra and what we have to bring to the table to make sure that we are free and how they can be able to partner with Biafran Defense Forces and all the rest. Then, that is good thing, no? It's good thing that it happened. What about, you remember what happened during the time we are the media team before now? You saw that we think that some people are indispensable. So if things like this don't happen, you say you don't know the best of Lipton tea until it falls into hot water. That is the only time you know the best of Lipton tea. So once things happen, you can see that the Biafran defense general that will be elected or that will be appointed will be the one that Okike himself has chosen. Not all these people that do gara gara. Because if you are a Biafran defense general, you should exhibit that general knowledge of what military is all about. How can you just defect under circumstances that are even, I don't know how to describe it. It's very, very
my brother.
unfortunate, but there's one thing I want you to talk about. What can you say? What do you really appreciate what our prime minister did? Because he didn't even waste time, so that people will not think that they are indispensable. What can you say about the action of the government in reaction to that useless
Uh,
sabotage by some form
uh,
of forces? Yeah.
thank you very much, my brother. The truth is that a government, no individual is bigger than the government. A government is the one carrying the collective will of the people. So you, as an individual, and you feel like you are too big, you cannot be bigger than the people. That is the truth. You understand? But so what the prime minister did is the right thing to do. That is the right thing to do. You understand? It's a welcome development. So nobody is indispensable. You understand? So sometimes I don't know. Some people are so heartbroken, and it's surprising a lot of us. And all these things, the signs have been there. The red lines have been there all this while. But we were restricted not to talk about them. You understand? Because when it has to do with BDF, that is a no-go area. So when persons begin to tell you that a Nigerian politician can just call him, he go provide security services to him. Don't you know the stand of that person? That anywhere belief is, anywhere money comes from, that is where the person will be. You understand? Anywhere, even though
Exactly.
Nigeria give them money, and there they go there. So I'm not really this surprised about it. But I just pray that those that are still faithful and committed should understand the reason why they are there. To
Yes.
also know that they are there to achieve freedom for those their colleagues that have died for this cause. They must understand that. And if they do
Yes.
anything otherwise, they are simply sabotaging those their colleagues and every Biafran that has died. Biafra.
And
Even
they
the
should
innocent
also,
Biafran.
yes,
Go
they
ahead.
should also understand that Biafra is a nation of 80 million people, over 80
Definitely.
million people. If you find yourself in a position that you are representing the Biafran military, it should be a very big honor for you. Very, very
Definitely.
important. A nation's
Definitely.
military. You find yourself in such position, and instead of you to be disciplined enough to understand that it is not by your own making, you are choosing for such a task. You are playing with that position. It is very, very
Eh,
unfortunate. Very,
Nigeria,
very
Nigeria
unfortunate.
has actu- Nigeria has actually weaponized poverty and solved the hunger on hunger against our people that They don't even know their left from right. Anywhere money comes, even you shock me. If Soludo gives them a very good amount of money now, they will endorse him as the next person in charge of the Biafra project. You understand? This is how these people are. So the other time they came up that all of them were poisoned and this is I was just
That's
laughing
it.
to say all this. I just realized all these people they don't come up with another one again. You know, that me I know fit talk. Because if we want
Oh
talk now,
my
they go dey
God.
fit talk. How could all of you just be poisoned? How
Be
I
poison
because
at
I
the
know
same
they,
time.
yeah, they were up to a scheme. They were up to a scheme. You understand? So, but the truth is that
Yeah, yeah.
they have done so much. They have really sacrificed a lot. They have fought so hard for this cause. So even if they want to betray, I think the wise thing that should have happened, if they are tired, they should step aside. You understand? For those that are still willing to achieve the freedom, for those our brothers and sisters that have lost their lives because of this freedom, to continue. You understand? Rather than doing all this frivolous and all this childish displaying this childish behavior, thinking that they are speaking to amateurs, people that do not have reason. You understand?
Mm.
So now you demote yourself from army just to security outfit. Is it a security outfit that you want to use to fight for freedom?
Don't
My dear
mind them.
brother David, my
Thank
dear
you.
brother David, as a matter of fact, I'm kind of busy right now, but if you are still on, when I get to where I'm going, I will still call you back again
No
and still
problem.
talk. So,
I really appreciate you. I really
yes,
appreciate you. Thank you so much, my brother. You said it all.
all right,
You can't
okay.
fight freedom using a security outfit. You have to have a military, and the Biafran Defense Forces is the Biafran military. You cannot from hierarchy come down to the floor. You cannot be from grace, then all of a sudden you drop to the grass. That is
That is the highest demotion as a
is grace.
result of
I'm
sabotage.
telling you.
Yeah, the highest demotion. So they feel like they are the ones that love the leader most. No,
Yeah,
they don't like
it's
the
good.
leader
It's
more
good.
than me. It's not like
They are
that.
the ones who
We are
demoted themselves.
Yes, we're only trying to save the leader. That is why we don't attach him to certain activities because it's inside there. Whatever happens outside there now, they should not count it against him. They should not use it
They don't.
against him. This is why we try to
Yes,
exonerate him from some activities and some groups. You understand? But because of their low level of reasoning, because of their
reasoning.
low
Yes,
mindset, they cannot understand. You understand? So they feel like because falling back from military to near security that makes you love the leader. That is not the case. You understand? That's not the
that's
case. Thank you
nonsense.
very much. Yeah.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. They think that they love MAZI and the KANU more than Biafran government in Eza. As a matter of fact, in 18th on I think on June last year, His Excellency Honorable Ogechukwu Nkere make a wonderful statement, congressional testimony in relation to the continued detention of MAZI Nnamdi Kanu, as well as the former Prime Minister MAZI Simon Ekpa Njoku. It is what the government is doing that will be able to release these leaders in detention. When we say it, people don't understand. Nigeria cannot release MAZI Nnamdi Kanu without getting pressure from the international community. And who is in charge of the Biafran restoration movement? Who is going to pressure international community to release MAZI Nnamdi? Is Briggy. There is no two words about. You think that it is coming to Eastern Security Network that will free MAZI Nnamdi Kanu. I don't know why these people are really behaving like children.
Now what they don't understand, Mazi. Now what they don't
Yeah,
understand. All this why they have been struggling. Say Obuzodima is bringing terrorists, Soludo is bringing terrorists. Have they been able to hold them accountable? That is to tell you that they don't have the capability to hold them accountable because these people will still come and drink with them. People go and work with
work
heavy
with them.
security. There's nothing you can do. By the time you involve the international community and the international community step in, it will not even take America a day to collect the lives of the Obus
Already.
or the man that have killed a
Already.
lot, the lives of
Uh,
the whole Soludo that are killing a lot. It will not take America even it will not take America 1 hour to collect all of them, to hold all of them accountable. So you that all these
exactly.
years they have not been able to hold Soludo accountable. Every time you go and engage police station, back, anyway, our people can be very, very annoying, honestly.
Already, the Biafran government in exile have taken action against Nigeria in relation to Simon Ekpa and MAZI Nnamdi Kanu. our congressional testimony that was made, their names were on that document. Their names are already there, submitted by the Prime Minister Ogechukwu Nkere. So what else are these people looking for? They think that it is not by force. You cannot release MAZI Nnamdi Kanu. Neither can you release Simon Ekpa. It is the diplomatic engagement that is happening in Washington, D.C. that can release them. So let you people don't think that it is what you are doing in the homeland that is going to release MAZI Nnamdi Kanu. It is babash. And that is why we have been telling people, support the government. Our government have the template. As a matter of fact, America recognizes Brigade as the only, agent or agency or organ that is fighting for Biafran freedom. So whatever the government says goes. And America cannot just come and say, Nigeria, release MAZI Nnamdi Kanu, or Nigeria, release Simon Ekpa Njoku. No, there are processes and procedures. MAZI Nnamdi Kanu is a prisoner of conscience. It's not whatever situation is facing in Nigeria, he's not going to come out just like that. It has to come from international pressure, because to get a nation is not my. MAZI Nnamdi Kanu is standing for Biafran freedom. He was kidnapped for Biafran freedom not to come. So for Nigerian to release him, it is not something that the lawyers can do. And that is why we are telling these people, it is the actions and activities of Biafran government that will make Nigerian government to release MAZI Nnamdi Kanu. It is not by what you have done. It is not. So that is why we encourage everybody to come on board and support this government. And for those of you who don't understand what the government is doing, the government is doing more than enough.
A very good evening to you, and welcome
to free Biafrans and to free all those, not only MAZI Nnamdi Kanu or Simon Ekpa Njoku, but every prisoner that is held because of Biafra, every person that has been detained because of Biafra. The government is actively engaging Washington, D.C. to that regard. So what is expected of every Biafran is to support what this government is doing so that we can be free out of Nigeria. Very, very important. Meanwhile, let us listen to our information minister, MAZI Sonia Parawa, as they take us to this issue that we are talking about, because it is really, really shameful. This sabotage is really shameful at this particular time.
to Voice of Biafra TV. The voice has become a must talk about issue. If you're not aware of what is happening in the Biafran circle, then you are not correct. Welcome to Voice of Biafra, the voice of truth, the voice of freedom, the voice of justice, and the voice of the people. It is Friday night, live on Voice of Biafra television. And I will be having a special guest in the house tonight that will be joining us all the way from Washington, D.C. And while that is in the pipeline, I welcome you all to Voice of Biafra television. A lot of things have happened within the week. But the truth remains that, and the fact of the matter is that, Nigeria is breaking into pieces. And Biafrans are getting ready to walk out with their victory of Biafra. Because the whole world is fixating their camera on Nigeria now.
Voice of Biafra TV. Now, Biafra blood, Biafra spirit strong. Them you wound, them show love, well, oh. You them arise, keep fire, they. Voice of Biafra TV.
The first, the best, and the last.
Voice of Biafra TV.
We lead, we shine, we last. The first, the best, and the last.
From the east to the world, hear the truth unfold. No other station does it better. Truth be told, real stories, real power, real Biafran soul. Every day, every hour, we taking control.
Breaking every silence, letting voices rise, standing for the people, opening their eyes, strong and unshaken, but for all to see, broadcasting the future.
Voice of Biafra TV.
There is only one. Only one Biafra network.
Welcome back to Voice of Biafra TV. And we shall be joining Washington, D.C. live from here to relay the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile to the entire world. Prime Minister, can you hear me from here?
Yeah, am I coming out?
Yes, I can hear you. It's good to have you once again on Voice of Biafra television, live from Washington, D.C. And you're welcome again to Voice of Biafra. It is Friday night. Biafran people await your presence.
Thank you. Great work you're doing for Biafran people. We really appreciate it. Good afternoon from here, my fellow citizens. Greetings to all the honorable ministers of Biafra Republic government in exile and also de facto government. I greet you all. And to our allies, our friends, we say thank you for supporting us and to hear our voice. Also in ways to help us. It's true that we are facing difficulties in this troubled time, a lot of challenges, temptation here and there, but that will not prevent Biafra from coming. It is already destined by our God, the creator of the heaven and earth, Jehovah God, for us to be free. He created us as freeborn, as free people, and we must be free. Our land is being occupied by the terrorist state of Nigeria after the genocidal civil war. They reannexed Biafran territory. And since then, the inhumane treatment did not stop. They intensified to make sure they Islamize Biafran people. They try everything they can to chase us out of our land. Thank God that we Biafrans are resisting because we know who we are. We can never be Islamized. We have seen that the God that we worship, we being Christian, that is where light, that is where our salvation is coming from. That is where the light of God will shine upon us. From the teaching of the Holy Book, for us to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. The Holy Book, the Bible, taught us how we can be of good conduct anywhere we find ourselves in this global community or in this world. We can't leave the teaching of our God and embrace Islamic jihadist terrorist teaching, of which their God, Allah, taught them how they will kill Christians, how they will behead women, children, how they will rape women, goats, cattle. We can't worship such God. We worship the God that we believe in, the God of life, the God of salvation, the God that taught you how to show love to your fellow human being. For that reason, our stand still remains with our Creator. And for that purpose that He created us to dwell and live in the land of Biafra. It's our God-given land that He has given us. We cannot allow or let anyone take it away from us. This troubled time, a lot been happening. Temptation from here and there, discord from here and there. While the Nigerian terrorist government is coming after me here in the United States of America, they are also using some Biafrans to work against freedom of Biafra. It's heartbreaking. It is expected, because this journey will not be easy. We can't get our freedom in a platter of gold. Everything in this life is full of challenging, but if you resist, stand your ground, at the end, you will be a winner. At the end, you will receive a reward for your hard work. Biafra Republic government in exile is here to stay. We're going nowhere. This is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. This is the government of Biafra. It is the legitimate government recognized by the United States of America. This government will restore the lost glory of Republic of Biafra. Biafra Republic government in exile will restore Republic of Biafra. And we must be free. Please, I will use this opportunity. We already know what is happening in our region and also around our neighbor, Nigeria. The terrorist state of Nigeria that sponsored these terrorists, they are killing Christians in Biafra territory, in Nigeria territory, across the region. It's not a new thing to us. If you think that the killing will stop, you are joking. Once these terrorists lift their sword, that sword don't come down until they accomplish their goal. Islamic religion grow by conquering other religions, other nations. Jihadism is part of their religion. Jihadism is part of their worship. They call it a holy war. Even the so-called moderate Muslim, they don't condemn this jihadism. They don't condemn these extremists. Behind closed doors, they sponsor them. It gives them joy because if these terrorists succeed, that means they have converted or they have get more people to worship their God, Allah. We can't coexist with people that will be killing, shouting Allah Kubaku, shouting that is the will of Allah. We don't want to worship such Allah that love when innocent children are being killed. We don't want to worship such Allah that love raping of women, children. We don't want to worship such Allah that believe by committing crime, killing other people. That is what brings praise to his name. A lot of Biafrans have been massacred daily. By who? By Nigerian terrorist government. The same government that sponsors insecurity in Nigeria. By extension, in Biafra land. Because they are still occupying our land. We will fight. We will do everything we can to chase them out of our land. Because it is our land. It is our right to defend ourselves. And our freedom we must get. Please, if you see what is going on within the Biafran struggle today, don't be surprised. It is expected. It happened in India when they were fighting for their freedom. It happened in South Africa. Why the group of Mandela have the upper hand? Because the group of Mandela form a government in exile. Why you have other groups also agitating? Please, if you're part of Biafra Republic government in exile government, you remember you are in a government of Biafra. Serve your people with all you have. Do everything you can. And serve with honesty, dignity, and with respect. Don't undermine other groups. Here in the United States of America, you have the government of America. And you also have other organizations like the Red Cross, Salvation Army. It's a lot of organization. There is no difference with us as well. We have a government. The only legitimate government is Biafra Republic government in Ezra. All other groups, they can have their groups, organize themselves, and support their government. As long as they are not working against Biafra Republic government in Ezra, we will not have problem with them. And also remember, after we have successfully liberated Biafra land, we will have parties. Like here in America, you have the Republican Party, you have the Democrat Party, and you also have the independents, of which you can run under Republican or Democrat, or you can run as independent. When Biafra is totally free, we might have something like USB Party. They have their right to contest to win election. BGC, Imam Mahmoud group, they can form a party. CRC group can form a party. 100-man group can form a party. IPOB under MAZI NNAMDI can also be a party wings. And IPOB under Chikedozium can also be a party. And we will not forget, after the genocidal war, a man who worked to resurrect the movement, Chief Ralph Owazurike. They do deserve credit, no matter what happened. If you have not resurrected this movement, I don't know if you and I will wake up to be talking about Biafra today. Chief Ralph Owazurike, Mazop can also not can. Mazop party will also contest. Then we'll go through a process of selecting the best candidate. It happens in every civilized world where they practice good democracy. Every party will not come with their best candidate. Then there will be a debate. Biafran people will hear from Mazurb group, from Chief Owazurike, from MAZI NNAMDI KANU IPOB, from DOS IPOB, from BGC group, from Simon Ekwa party, from USB party. They will vote for who will lead them. That is a true democracy. After we totally liberate Biafra land during the transition process, we had an election in Biafra land. And as I'm speaking, some of this group are already willing to work with Biafra Republic government in exile. Very soon, we'll let Biafran people know these groups. After we have thoroughly make sure that working together, of which is a good idea, and we hear a good fruitful result for Biafran people, because we are all Biafrans. No Biafra is greater than any Biafra. Nobody owns Biafra. Biafra belongs to all of us. And in Biafra, we must practice true democracy. Biafra will not practice a monarch system. If we want to practice a real democracy, that is where we have a system, a presidential system, primary system, of which we have a president or a prime minister. We will not have a system where we worship any individual as God. Biafra people believe in Chukwu Okike Abiam, Jehovah God, the supreme God, the supreme leader of all and all, with his son, Jesus Christ. The system of Biafra prohibits supreme leader. Biafra will not worship any human being. And nobody is bigger, greater than Biafra. We will not have a monarch system. If we have made mistake in the past, that is a mistake. Every day, the jungle gets matured. Every day, we correct our mistakes. We learn what we don't know. Our ears are wide open to listen, to get advice from the experts. Biafra will practice a true democracy. Biafra can never be my business. It can never be a family business. It can never be a community business. It can never be organization business. It is business of all of us. That is why in Biafra, we will not have anything like supreme leader. Our supreme leader is Chukwu Okike Abiyama, Jehovah God. Please, if you're a Biafran and you mean well for Biafran people, be truthful to yourself. Stop deceiving yourself. In the history of Biafra, fighting for Biafra freedom, starting from 1967 to 1970, our presidents have never been in Washington, D.C. like today. You and I, under Biafra Republic government in Ezra, make it happen by the support of Biafran people that have elected us to serve them. We are servants of the people. You cannot be a supreme over people you serve. We serve with humbleness, humility, like what is happening in this disgraced country called Nigeria today. The president of Nigeria is above the whole nation, the whole country called Nigeria. Instead of them serving the interest of the people, they are serving their own interest. That is why you see all this looting of Nigerian fund that meant to serve the people, fund that meant to have a better hospital, better clinic, to build better road infrastructure, fund that is designed to make sure they have a functionable airport, seaport, funds that are allocated for energy, for electricity. This government, they embezzle the fund because they care less for the people they serve. Instead of them being the servant of the people, they now turn the people to be their slave because of the system of supreme leader, because they are above the people they're supposed to serve. We in Biafra Republic government in Ezra, we are your servant. We will serve you with the best of our knowledge, with humbleness. We are not your supreme leader. Nothing in history of Biafra like supreme leader. We're not going to practice a monarch system. In this 21st century, true democracy is not the system of Omunna back in the days, where you have the Eze, then you have the Elders Council. What are we talking about? Are we going back to 1500 years ago? Or are we moving forward? We can't have a system where we have the supreme leader, Elders Council. What kind of system is that? That is why I encourage every group to work with Biafra Republic government in Ezra. You have your own part to play. Come to your government. Bring your expertise. Bring the best you have. We need you on board. We cannot do it alone. That is why I'm calling on all these groups, especially these groups that are fighting themselves on social media, disgracing themselves. The government of Biafra is not happy about it. IPOB under MAZI NNAMDI KANU, shield your sword. Reserve that sword, you need it to fight your enemy. IPOB under MAZI Chike Doziem, shield your sword. These two IPOB groups fighting themselves will yet no result. Reserve that sword. You need a sword to fight your enemy. We cannot be calling for peace. And we that are calling for peace will still be the one that is causing chaos, problem. This government is real concerned about this issue. Please, every other group, shade your sword. And the BGC CROC group of MAZI Simon Ekpa, shade your sword. You can be calling for peace and you suing the government of Biafra, of which MAZI Simon Ekpa confesses and realizes that Briggy is the government of Biafra, of which he's part of Briggy at the time, before he chooses the side he want to work with. Briggy is still the government of Biafra. Briggy is not hijacked by anyone. No one born of a woman can destroy Briggy. No one born of any woman can hijack Briggy. No one can hijack the government of Biafra. No one can hijack the government of the people. God can use you, can use me as a willing tool to get Briggy to function and work as a government. That don't mean that government belongs to you or me. If God has chosen to use me as a willing tool to put together the government of Biafra, that don't mean it's my government. It's your government. Without you, I can't do nothing. Without you sending me to work for you, I can't do it on my own. When I go to Washington, D.C., throughout this week, I visit Washington, D.C. 3 times. All the time while I'm in Washington, D.C., I never mention my name that I'm there for the business of Ogechukwu Nkere. It's always the business of Biafra Republic government in exile. It's always the business of Biafra people. Shame on all the evil people coming after the government of Biafra. Sheathe your sword. Use that your sword against our enemy. We can't be enemy among ourselves. We can't be calling for peace, unity within us, and we are fighting one another. Briggy is government of Biafra, and it's never been hijacked, can never be hijacked. Briggy is in good hand. I, as a messenger, you have made me your gatekeeper of Biafra Republic government in exile. I accept it. As the gatekeeper, I will make sure nothing happened to Briggy. Nothing happened to Biafra Republic government in exile. If anything happened to Biafra government, it will be a disaster from Washington, D.C. Do you all want Washington, D.C. to start looking at us, taking us on serious? Briggy have opened the eyes of lawmakers in Washington. Few hours ago, when I opened my phone, I saw a wonderful, beautiful text from one of our allies from U.S. government. I laugh and I respond back, great. What you don't know is bigger than you. But for you that have trusted me and gave me this assignment, thank you. For you that believe in me, be rest assured, Biafra is here. I will not disappoint you, but I will make sure every mistake that we have made in the past will correct everything. Throughout this week, all my meeting in Washington,
Thank you, Prime Minister. Sacrifice for Biafra from the beginning to the end. While those that you are even fighting for get financial benefit. Yeah. Yet the same people that you fight for that get financial benefit are the people that are fighting against you and your government, working so hard to destroy you. And it's so pathetic for Biafrans to see that the congressional testimony in the US Congress last year, everything was about the release of NNAMDI and Biafra freedom. Like you stated, there was no line throughout the 8 pages of the congressional testimony to the US Congress. There was no line that depicted your name asking for a favor for Okechukwu Nkere. There was no line. Neither was there a line or sentence that asked for favor or protection to the family of Okechukwu Nkere. Not the wife of Okechukwu Nkere, not the children of Okechukwu Nkere, not his company or his business, but all for NNAMDI and Biafra. And today, you can see that the same MAZI Simon that you're fighting for is the one that is inside prison and is filing a lawsuit against BRGIE and against you personally, and also against the lobbyists and against the attorney that is fighting for Biafra to be on the table of America. It is pathetic and shocking. And we believe that it is what must happen for Biafran people to understand and see and know that it is the right time for Biafra independence to be actualized. Because never a time like this that the Biafran people has been this close and also gotten to Washington, D.C. to table their case to this point that they now speak and have handshakes with the U.S. government on Biafra discussions. So if there is attack or a reprisal attack coming in from even the person that you're fighting for to be free from inside prison, and even Biafrans that you're fighting for to be free, plus Nigerian government, who have launched series of attacks against you and BRGI in America to be destroyed, and to see that you are captured like the way they captured NNAMDI and put inside a bag and brought down to Nigeria. If all these are happening at this time, and all these opportunities did not avail itself during Ojukwu and Philip Effiong time of Biafra independence, because they suffered so much opportunity to see that Biafra gets to America and to be discussed in Washington, D.C. And for any of the congressmen or ambassador or even a think tank group in America to discuss Biafra in any way, opportunity did not avail itself. So if this is happening at this time in our own dispensation, and then those you are fighting for are now joining hands with the enemy of Biafra to fight against you, it actually means that Biafra is here and that we are at the right point to get it all done once and for all. Nigeria is on a time bomb now. It is exploding. Boko Haram terrorism is escalating on daily basis and going everywhere. So I see it that the opportunity of the Biafran people has come. The time to get it all actualized has come. So Biafran people, like the Prime Minister said, you should count it joy that your crown and your glory has arrived. That which you've been waiting for is actually here. So it is incumbent on you to join your hands and deliver your Biafran independence. We'll take a short break, and our lines will also be, and then we will have a chat out with the Prime Minister for some minutes. Later on, the line will be open for those that want to call in to aid their views and also to ask some questions. The Prime Minister is here to answer questions from everybody today. You can throw in your question from any angle. He will select the one that is best to answer to the public interest. The one that is not stable, you will know how to handle it. So avail yourself of this time and make it happen. We take a short break and we continue when we return.
In the heart of Africa, a nation bleeds.
Thank you, Biafrans. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being part of this broadcast. And thank you for being part of this broadcast. Please share, share, share. And always follow us on Twitter and also subscribe to this YouTube channel. So thank you so much, Biafrans, and good night from here.